You know, when you meet someone and you very quickly realize you pretty much share a brain, you're always on the same page and essentially speak the same language, maybe just in a different font?
I'm Stephanie, and that was Holly, and we are those girlies. After sharing an experience in corporate America, and maybe some trauma bonding along the way, we really just want to yammer about the stuff that matters to us. Join us as we discuss navigating self love and growth, marriage, sobriety, and the hamster wheels that are our brains. And welcome to Same Language, Different Font.
Yo, that AC got up to 76. I'm sitting here
Mm-mm.
actively sweating. I
I'm
want you guys
dying.
watch me melting in front of you. That's why. Talking about having to have XYZ, being married with kids and a career, I am really, really enjoying that one of the stigmas that's breaking is that because you're a woman, you have to have kids.
Mm, mm,
I've met so many people over the past just recent years that are
mm-hmm.
like, I don't want to have kids. And I love hearing that because like I respect them so much for knowing that about themselves because that is something that
100%.
is very much unintentionally pushed on you
Yeah.
as a woman. At least for me, like I can't speak for every single woman out there, but that's what
That's
you
a
do. You have
very
kids.
common lived experience for
Yes.
sure.
Yes.
Especially if you're a woman who's married and
Ooh.
you're not even
Then you get
thinking
the
about having
question,
kids.
when are you guys
Yeah.
having kids?
From everyone, from literally everyone, people that you've never even that you talk to once a year at your
Mm-hmm.
mom's birthday party randomly.
Co-workers.
Yes, like
No.
what?
No.
What? So we've got the traditional path. We're like, okay, college, all of that. Do what you will. We've got gender roles and expectations because that, I think that women having kids and people deciding not to have children, I brilliant for one to bring that up because it is so true. How the kids thing for me is just so difficult because it makes me like as a mom, it makes me like irrationally angry. I don't know why. Like, okay, just hear me out. You have to have a license. I say
I'm
this to
trying.
everyone. I say this to everyone, but it's like you have to have a license to drive. You have to have a license to fish. You have to have a license to have a firearm. You have to have a license to do you have to have a license to get married? But you don't have to have a license to have children, which I know that's insane. Maybe we shouldn't
Right.
have so many licenses and things, but just hear me out. I'm almost there.
Please.
Is if you know that you don't want to have children and then you proceed to bring children into the world, that to me is one of the most messed up things that you can do, in my
Yep.
opinion. Like, it's just, I know that things happen. I
Mm-hmm.
know that sometimes things happen and babies just the whatever, we're not gonna go there. Y'all know how babies are made, okay? I'm not going there anyways. It's just, yes, if you know that you don't, just just say that and then don't.
And then
I
and then
and
don't.
then don't. Period. There are so many different ways. I'll be completely honest with our listeners. OG and I had 4 boys when I got pregnant with baby Brooklyn, and whether she was a boy or a girl at 27 years old, I looked my OBGYN in the face and said, after this baby is born, I want my tubes tied. And
Mm-hmm.
Holly, I had my OBGYN ask me at every single appointment, is this something you still want? I had 3 nurses before I went into the surgery ask me, is this something you still want? And before they put the mask on my face to put me out to tie my tubes, the surgeon said, you're only 27 years old. Are you sure this is something that you want to do? I am telling a room full of medical professionals that I have now 5 children. I
Mm-hmm.
do not, in any
You
capacity,
could be
think
Mormon.
I could. If I had the money is the only thing. That is the only thing keeping
Right.
me from having 12, 13. I see how it happens because there's nothing better to me. There's nothing better to me in my entire life that I've ever done. Period. But I also knew that after having 5 was already gonna be very difficult. And I will never sugarcoat it and say that it is not difficult, whether that
Right.
be financially, whether that be physically, whether that be mentally,
Emotionally.
emotionally, all of it is difficult. Still the most rewarding thing I've ever done in my entire life. Wouldn't change a
Yeah.
moment of it. But I also knew that if, gosh forbid, after I had baby B and I didn't take the measure that I did and my birth control failed or other preventative measures failed and I had another baby, not only would I suffer, not only would OG suffer, but all of my other children would suffer because of the burden that no, I don't like that. I don't like that word at all. But just the difficulty that is having multiple
Yeah.
kids in that way, so it's just,
Right.
sorry, I went on a rant, boy. Whew, but this is one I didn't realize how strongly I feel about it until you said it, because I, as someone who has as many kids as I do, you think that I'd be all for, like, no, have kids, no, everybody
Yeah.
should, no. Like,
No. I
no.
think that the world is overpopulated because of this expectation
Because of
of
the stigma.
women to have
Yes.
children and to not,
Yes.
like, even before it was to have as many as they could. It
Mhm.
wasn't just to have them, it was to have as many as they could. And then it kind of changed to you have to have them. And
Right.
now it's changing, and I
Yeah.
love it, to
Yes.
if you want them.
Right. Right.
And that comes in many different shapes and forms, as we know. Like, it can include adoption, IVF, just if it happens organically.
Literally. Right.
All the different ways. But with that changing, I think, and this is just my own little pet peeve that I'm speaking it out there, and I know for a fact that I'm not the only one who feels this way. Please be very careful and try to avoid, if you can. I'm going to be blunt about it. Do not ask somebody when they are going to have kids.
Amen. Forking men. How?
You don't know if they want them. You don't know if they are currently trying and having
Right.
problems. You don't know if they just had a loss. You do not know what is going on in their situation. Do not ask them.
It is.
Do you want
none
them? That is
of
okay.
your business. It is none of your business.
Right.
There are so many things that could be your business. Somebody's reproductive life is not it, ever.
Do you want to have kids?
Yeah.
That's
Sure.
That is, to me, that's okay.
Yeah.
That's just asking a simple, it's not an assumption of when.
Caveat to that. Do you want to have kids? They say yes. Okay, great. They say no. Leave them alone. Do not try to convince them of why they need to have children. Yes, like, ew, what? Like, yes. Oh my gosh.
This segues into my next one, is that women can't be a mother and have a career.
Lies.
And also, another one, that women should want to pursue a career when they become a mother. There is no way to do it. There's no right or wrong way. If you become a mom and you realize that you love that way more than you loved your career, and you are in a financial position that you don't need to work, don't have society tell you that you need to go back to work and hustle.
Period.
On the flip side, if you have a kid and you realize, I really need some separation and I loved what I was doing and it's a part of my identity and something I'm proud of,
go back to work with no guilt. Go back to work with no guilt. Like, the mom guilt and just like the guilt and just no, because it's just so, I feel like I could do a whole episode on just this.
I told you this is going to be 3 parts.
Just this specific one, because it is just so true. It is so true. And on the flip side of that, for the dads, there is a dad that I follow on Instagram where, like, literally his whole platform is just being a stay-at-home dad and how his wife is the breadwinner of it, and
that's
how much hate this man gets for being a darn good dad. Are you kidding me? I mean, there are things that OG does with our kids and just ways that he is with our children that society would say that's not a dad's job. The fact that OG takes our kids to school every day and drops them off at school every day, people look at him like he has 3 heads when he says that to them. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, he is not just a father. He is a dad. He is present. It's that argument of, I left my kids with my husband to babysit them. I don't know if you've heard that my husband doesn't babysit, or something like that. That's the epitome of it. And it is happening more and more and more and more often as these dads are speaking up and speaking out and just saying like, we understand women have gender roles. Like we get it. That society says that there are certain roles, but what about us too? Because we
Yeah,
can be
they
good
definitely
dads.
do.
We can be present dads. OG, I literally, if I said right now, hey, I'm busy, I need you to call the doctor and make an appointment for so and so, or whatever. Or Wednesday, we've got the dentist appointments for the kids and stuff, and he's the one calling and setting it up and rearranging. It's just that mold is slowly but surely breaking for all of us. And it is so
Yeah.
beautiful to see, because who in the world made these wonky behind rules to begin with? Oh my
I
gosh.
want to ask them some questions.
Yes. Just want to have a quick talk with
I'd
you.
like to file a formal complaint, please. Because, I'm
this
not
is
about
not
it.
No.
All right, segueing away from just ones that I can speak to as a woman, but there was one that I learned when I was doing my research that I was really surprised to hear, is that a lot of people will vote for an election for the candidate that they think will win versus who they genuinely think will do the better job, just because they're like, this guy's going to win. And like, I know that everybody's going to vote for them. He's going to win. She's going to win. Whoever. They vote for what they think the majority will vote for.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was very surprised to hear that.
I'm especially in this climate. I mean, for sure, you would think that everybody would be, no, I'm voting for who I'm voting for kind of deal. Like it's a tough one. I mean, it is, especially.
Yeah, I'm not diving too deep into this one, but
and especially right now, it is crazy to watch how people will not allow that mold to break. They will not allow that mold. This is the way that I've always done it, and this is the way that I'm going to do it forever, regardless of what is said or what
why am I really thinking this way? Is this actually following what I believe and I want in my day-to-day life?
This one gives me the ick halls. Big time.
Moving on. Traditions were a really, really big one. And not just in the fact of holiday traditions. That is one of them, though. But it was weddings, baby showers, engagement parties. A lot of that, I think, it's just a different events. What the heck is a sprinkle? Sorry. That was a joke, guys. I really love the term baby sprinkle. I think it's very clever. But I had to put in Schitt's Creek in that reel.
So funny.
I love David.
That was so good.
But these events are changing. I remember planning our wedding and being told, like, this is how we need to do things. This is how this process goes. This is what you need to have here. This is what. Why? I don't want that. We don't want that. Let me rephrase that. We do not want that.
Right.
And I've been having conversations with people recently talking about like their baby showers or their engagement parties, and you have to play these games during them. You have to do these activities. You have to do XYZ. No, I do not have to do anything.
No.
Why are we just why?
Why?
And it's okay to change things up. If you're asking the questions, I have these questions on the back. Am I doing this just, sorry, this one got me because of the term that was used in it. Am I doing this just because I am conditioned to do so? Are you reluctantly following these traditions? Do you even remember why?
Where did it come from?
Where did it go? Do they provide as much enjoyment as they do stress?
That has been a key for me. Oh, if I don't like it, go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, last one. Are you doing it just to please others? And as
right to the heart. There it is. Bro.
As a people pleaser, that one hits.
They're like,
but there's a balance. There are things you do for other people, of course.
Yes. No. It is so Oh God, that last one really, because that I this whole process for me lately of breaking these molds that I have just kept myself in for so long, so many times have I said to myself, girl, you are just doing this for this person. You are just doing this for this recognition. So we spoke with one of our guests, and that's all up and coming for you guys. Don't worry, we'll get there. But they made a point that really just hit with me during our conversation. That was, am I doing this for a selfish reason, or am I doing this for a purpose to serve someone or something? And I think that that also ties into this breaking the mold type of thing.
100%.
Some of it I am doing for selfish reasons. I'm not going to lie, but it's things that I didn't have in place in my life previously that are making me feel better. They're making me feel better, and they're making me do better, and they're making me hold on to habits and things like that, but I have to do them selfishly. And then there's some things that I was doing for people that was just to get that at a girl, you know? And it's like,
Yeah.
I don't even need the stinking at a girl. I can tell myself at a girl and it feels much better, you know? I
That's
don't
something
know.
that comes when I mentioned like it starts as soon as you're born. Kids are actively seeking
Yes,
praise.
they are.
And that doesn't go away.
No.
That does not go away.
Everybody
As
wants
much
to
as
hear
you might
good
try
job.
to say, exactly.
Yeah.
You want recognition.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that you mentioned that from the guest episode, which I'm so excited for you guys to hear.
Mhm.
But that was something that it followed a question that I asked, because I was like, that's a mold that I find myself kind of falling into, I guess would be the best way to say that. Since we started the pod, is we're on social media a lot more. And before the podcast, I tried to avoid social media. I wanted to be very present. I didn't want to get caught up in how society was telling me that I should live and that I need to post this and only posting the good things and what have you. I feel like that is just part of social media at this point. And now that we are very actively on social media to try to have a platform and outreach with you guys and building this community, it is so easy, I'm not going to lie, to find that mentality creeping in of I need to post what people are wanting to see, or I need to only post these positive things. And I know that that's a lot of what you've been seeing, that at least for me, that I've been posting is like the habits that I've been working on. Those do not come naturally.
Right.
And I'm trying to find ways to show the realness behind it of it's a struggle. I don't hit it every day. I'm not trying to be somebody who pretends to have it all together, because believe me, oh my goodness, I do not have it even a smidgen together. And that's something, even this morning, I was like, I need to get ready for this podcast recording. I need to go and do my hair and what have you. And it's very intentional that I wear these emotional support sweatshirts, because I don't think you should put on a ball gown just because you know that you're going to be in front of social media and in front of viewers. I am going to hop in my bed and read Reckless, because I finished Powerless this morning after I finished recording this. And you can tell that that's exactly what I look like I'm going to be doing. There's no sense in trying to put on a front that this is what your day-to-day looks like, even if it's just for a 30-second video that you're going to post. And I'm trying really hard to keep that mentality of, am I posting this with the influencer perfectionist mindset that has snuck up, the influencer mold?
Yeah. It's the only showing you the pretty edited version of things.
My home is always clean.
Right.
I'm always put together. No, I chose to make my smoothie this morning with all of the supplements that I need to be taking right now versus doing my hair for this episode, because that is what is actually important to me, not looking fully put together for an episode I'm going to be recording for an hour and then hopping into bed.
Right. And then changing out of it to get back to the realness that is me. No, that's not. And I mean, that's a boundary. I mean, that's a boundary that you and I mean, I feel like we set that from the jump when it comes to this type of thing. And it's something that it's all tied together. I know I've already said it, but it's incredibly true that it's having the awareness of, I recognize that this could be something that I would do normally, and then actively stopping yourself from doing that thing and saying, no, I'm going to do it. I'm going to full send it. I mean, you and I do that all the time when we send stuff back and forth to each other. Hey, this thing doesn't exactly match what we were talking about. Do you think it's worth posting? Or
Right.
that kind of, I would say, like kind of like a second guessing. And I think the more that we stop doing that, it does allow us to be our more authentic self. It
Yeah.
allows us to show up for ourselves and for social media and everything else more authentically. Because the more that you do it and you realize that you can do it, nobody's coming for you, nobody's putting you on blast or being ugly or anything else. I'm fully prepared for the day that comes where
Yeah.
somebody posts something that isn't a response that we were expecting to get from them
Yeah.
in regards to something that we've said and how we're going to navigate that. You don't know until you know. You don't know until you do it, until you actively try to start breaking that mold.
Yeah. And I don't think I'm in the mold. It's not allowing myself to get into it. And it's
Yeah.
something that Em asked me when I was making some of these reels, because I mean, having these social media platforms, you do have to make a lot of content.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of your
You
time.
have to post.
And exactly.
Yeah.
And we don't want you guys to forget about us. But
Right.
and so Em asked me, are you trying to be an influencer?
Mm-hmm.
And immediately I was like, no. But going back and thinking about it, the way that people perceive influencers is, I'm going to talk about this product, I'm going to post things with this intention, but at the same time, aren't we trying to influence our listeners to have these mindsets and make these shifts and have intention and gratitude? We're trying to influence their lives by living by example,
Mm-hmm.
and allowing Big Man to work through us to kind of provide that information, I
Yeah.
guess.
Start the conversation.
So yeah, so maybe I
Mm-hmm.
I am trying to be an influencer.
Yeah.
But let's change the definition of that term. Let's change the perception of that.
Right.
It can mean more.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I like that. I like that. Change the definition of it, because it's just like anything else in life. There's so many different things that can go into it, that can come from it, so many different variations of it. And I think that even
Right.
people who do have a large following, they would say that there are molds within the mold, if you will. Like
Yeah.
there's the influencers that's what they do. They are sponsored.
It's like your niche.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, So I think it's not all bad. It's not all bad, just like
No.
anything else. But I can see where your mindset was of the like, no, don't loop me into
Right.
that. But it's like, but no, I low key kind of am a little bit though.
Yeah. Just not I'm not
It's
I don't
not the
know.
2020 TikTok version. It's just not. It's not the COVID TikTok influencer version. Like, it's
No.
just not. It's different.
Sorry, mom talk.
Yeah.
Also, I very much watch Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, so that was not throwing any shade whatsoever. I am knees deep in that show. I will definitely be
That's
watching
good
season
stuff.
3. All right, next one. I don't know if this is considered a mold or if this is a lie that needs debunking, so you let me know what you think and we can take it out. But you have to go to college to get a good career.
Oh no, that's a mold. No, that's a mold. That's a mold for sure. No, but breaking the mold of college, you have to go to college,
Yes.
and it's just it's a big one for me too. I don't know why. I really think that it's just not the norm now. It's just not the case anymore. And I know that for 2 generations. What's it say? Go ahead, read it.
This is absolutely outdated trash thinking.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry I said it, is what I have written. I
Outdated
this
trash
mindset.
thinking.
I hate it.
No.
I will say it. I don't like it whatsoever.
Amen,
You have
sister.
to go to college to get a good career. I know maybe
Baloney.
2 people who are doing something in the field that they went to school for.
Listen, if you're going to go be
Unless
a
you're
doctor
or
a
lawyer.
like,
then yes, please go to school before representing and or operating. But outside of that, no, it is not. And I do understand that it was a big, exciting thing in our parents' generation.
It definitely was.
It's a huge opportunity. But now, I was just talking to somebody about this. There are so many people getting there are so many people getting degrees in things that are so specific to the field that they want to be in, but that field is so saturated at this point that they can't find jobs. So you have to go and do something entry level that you didn't go to school for.
Right.
And I went to school for sign language interpreting. I have yet to do an interpreting job.
Right.
Since graduating.
Which is crazy to me, though. And I've meant to ask you about that, and we'll talk about it at another time. But it's just so interesting to me because interpreters make bank. Like,
it scared me because they were contracted. And you have to, like, you have to get your own benefits and what have you. And so just being a freshly graduated out of college.
That's fair. That's
redundant.
Okay.
Having just been fresh out of college, I had no idea how to do that.
And that makes sense. Okay.
So also, they don't make as much as you would think. And that's what I was afraid that I wouldn't make enough to be able to survive.
To live. Yeah.
Once you take out taxes.
Which is insane.
Any sign language interpreters out there that are listening to this, if I'm wrong, please let me know.
Well, and that's the thing. It's just what you just said, is that is the ultimate lie of the entire thing, is that you did it. You went to school. You got your degree. The promise is that you would be able to find a good job, making good money to set yourself up for a career forever. Plot twist, you got out of school and you were concerned that you wouldn't be able to do any of that. And how many people graduated? My brother graduated, 4-year degree, couldn't find a job, graduated, stayed working at Publix. Like, I mean, it is not the case. And I, as a mom, will say, like, this is my thing, is that, yes, it was the generation of our parents who fully embrace the college life, fully embrace the college experience, can tell you all the stories about all their parties with the fraternities and the sororities and all of these things and the big sports games and this and that. But I, at 18 years old, what? I'm supposed to tell someone what I'm going to do for the rest of my life at 18 years old when I can barely tie my shoes.
Having never experienced a full-time job at that point.
Right.
Knowing what actually interests you.
Right.
Sure, let's push you. I mean, I do understand it's kind of a stepping stone of living on your own.
It is.
It's safer to live in a dorm.
Right.
Is it, though? Like, there are stories, but... it's just, I mean, I got a concussion my first year of college, so like, is it really that much safer? But yeah, no, the people that I know that didn't go to school and just started working right out the gate I'll be completely honest, they are so much better off financially than I am at this point, us being the same age, because I did go to school.
Right. Yeah.
So is it really the best thing for you?
Right.
If you
changed my major
once you've been
5 times.
Yeah, I did change my major too. And and then you just choose something because
they tell you
to changing it and you just want to get out.
Right.
I just want to be done. I'm not saying that college isn't necessary. I think that it can definitely be beneficial if you know what you want to go for. Yeah. And you don't just go because you're being told you have to go.
That's it. And if you
take some time, figure out what you want to do.
Yeah.
Go when you're older.
That's my thing, is that if I would have just waited until I was 21, 22, not only would I have probably had a better idea of what I wanted to do at that point, but I would have been more mature in the sense that waking up for an 8 a.m. class, sitting through a 90-minute lecture wouldn't feel like a death sentence. I would do anything to go sit in a college classroom right now and learn something new and take a test with a professor and actually get some Yeah, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I would absolutely love it now. But instead,
Yeah.
I was
You take it for
18
granted.
with parents who loved me very much, but
Yeah.
just very much harping in my ear about how necessary this thing was, how much I absolutely had to do it. I mean,
Also, you've already
applying.
been in school for 14 years
Right.
leading up to that point. You
Right.
need a break.
And then, bro, do not even get me started on the freaking predatory lending that happens to college kids. Like, do not. I am in student loan debt now and will be for the foreseeable future because I will pay it when they tell me I need to pay it, but my stuff is not due yet. And I'm just like, I know that that sounds so financially irresponsible, but it is just something that is just makes me so angry. I cannot even, it is just, it's not fair. It's
Give
not
you a
right.
12% APR.
Like, for real, when I literally could not walk in and get a car loan when I was 18, I had to have a cosigner to get my first apartment and all of this. But here comes the freaking federal loan, whatever, student something or another. Just like, oh, 10 grand, Stephanie? Does that sound good to you? Are you kidding me? Like, oh, it makes me so mad. Oh my God, my kids will never fall predator to this, like, or prey to this. I swear on my life. And if anybody out there is having kids right now or has kids that are about to start going to college
Or
and
18
stuff,
years ago.
just, yeah, yes, like, just be easy about this subject because it is just not true. And just so everyone who is listening knows, Mike Rowe, the guy who does dirty jobs, in the next 10 years, for every 5 tradesmen that retire, only 2 are coming behind to replace them. So for anybody out there that might be listening who is wondering about what you should be doing or what path you should be taking, if anything in the trades interest you, whether that be electrical, whether that be plumbing, whether that be welding, whether that be any of the blue collar type things, it's going to be needed and you're going to be able to make bank because, and the way that it was described was so
Because no one
brilliant.
wants to do it.
Imagine calling a plumber for a plumbing issue in your house and being told that no one will be able to come out to your house for 4 to 6 weeks because there are no plumbers. Like, that is what is going to happen if we continue pushing this BS narrative that you have to have a piece of paper in a frame on your wall to be successful. And that's all I'm going to say about it. It makes me so mad, Halls. All of this makes me really mad. It's just not necessary.
It's definitely not necessary. That's why I put outdated trash thinking.
Outdated trash thinking is so brilliant. So brilliant. And I'm not sorry about it.
Get really angry. So if you haven't noticed, Steph and I are a little bit brighter today. You know, we're not living in shadows like we're gremlins.
Swamp people.
Right. A sweet friend of mine, she bought me a ring light, and I posted about it on the Insta, and Steph has her ring light on too, and she said, you guys just have so much joy, I really just want to see it. This might have been the worst episode for us to have brought these out on because
really illuminated that joy.
There are millions of fonts in the world and new ones are constantly being developed. If you happen to be one of those millions out there that speak our language and are still developing, just like we are, stick with us.
We want to thank you for spending your time with us today, and we'll talk to you on the next episode of Same Language, Different Font. Love you, listeners.